Greetings from the Baha'i communities of Greater Atlanta. This time of the year, the Baha'i community is celebrating the festival of Ridván. This celebrates Baha'u'llah's declaration as a messenger of God for this time in history. The Baha'i faith is a world religion whose purpose is to unite all races and the peoples of the world, and to establish a civilization founded on justice, equality, and unity in diversity. Baha'is are the followers of Baha'u'llah, who we believe is the promised one of all ages and the great spiritual educator of our time.
را به فجأة رزقی جمع نکرد و شرابی بسا نکرد و عملی رضای کرد و عملی ثنای کرد و انیسی ذکر کرد و معینی سلطان کرد رزقی جمالک و شرابی بسالک و عملی رضایک و عملی ثنایک و انیسی ذکرک و معینی سلطانک
If I shall The first day of Ridván took place on Wednesday, April 22nd, 1863, 31 days after the celebration of Nowruz. In the afternoon that day, Baha'u'llah left his home in Baghdad, crossing the Tigris River. He took with him his 3 sons, Abdul Baha, 18 years old, Mirza Mehdi, the purest branch, 14, and Muhammad Ali, 10, along with Mirza Aqajan, his secretary, and perhaps others. Flooding the river prevented the rest of his family from joining them at the same time. A special garden called the Garden of Najibiyah was reserved for Baha'u'llah and his companions for a period of 12 days. Baha'u'llah called this the Garden of Ridván, or the Garden of Paradise. To a select few Babis, Baha'u'llah privately announced in the Garden of Paradise that he was the promised one foretold by the Bab and by the founders and prophets of the world's great faiths. 3 of the 12 days of Ridván, the first, 9th, and final day, which fall respectively on April 21st, April 29th, and May 2nd, have special significance when Baha'is suspend work and school. On April 29, 1863, the 9th day of Ridván, the flooding Tigris receded enough so that Baha'u'llah's family could cross the river and join him on the island. This symbol, the reunification and strength of the bond of family, and by extension, the unity of an entire human family, permeates the meaning of the 9th day of Ridván. On the last day of Ridván, at noontime, 12 days after he had first entered the garden, Baha'u'llah mounted a horse and departed the garden. He brought with him a revelation that heralded a new era, the beginning of the Baha'i faith.
day's begun. We were meant to live together. Unknown son, he said, we are one. Since the day's begun, we were meant to live together. Unknown son. Since the day's begun, we should all be living together. Unknown son.
Baha'u'llah is the desire of the nations.
Baha'u'llah is the Lord of Lords.
Baha'u'llah is the most great ocean. Baha'u'llah is he whom God will make manifest.
Baha'u'llah is the most great name.
Baha'u'llah is the ancient beauty.
Baha'u'llah is the great announcement.
Baha'u'llah is the supreme heaven.
Baha'u'llah is the day star of the universe.
The departure of Baha'u'llah from the garden at Ridván on the 3rd of May 1863 at noon was a scene of such tumultuous enthusiasm, no less spectacular, and even more touching than those that greeted him when he left his most great house in Baghdad. The great tumult, recorded one observer, associated in our minds with the day of gathering, the day of judgment, we beheld on that occasion. Believers and unbelievers alike sobbed and lamented. The chiefs and notables who had congregated were struck with wonder. Emotions were stirred to such depths as no tongue could describe, nor could any observer escape their contagion. In truth, each one, like a mother grieving over a lost son, lamented and sobbed to the highest pinnacles of heaven. The non-believers, including the ulama, jurists, rulers, and commoners, every sort of person who was present, were crying and weeping as well. The call, Allahu Akbar, God is most great, rang out again and again. People threw themselves in the path of his horse. Ahmed begged Baha'u'llah to be amongst his companions in exile, but Baha'u'llah did not accede to this request. He chose a few people and instructed the others to stay and teach and protect the cause, emphasizing that this would be better for the faith of God. At the time of his departure, those who were left behind stood in a row, and all were so overcome with sorrow that they burst into tears. Baha'u'llah again approached them and consoled them, saying, "It is better for the cause. Some of these people who accompany me are liable to do mischief. Therefore I am taking them with myself." One of the friends could scarcely control his anguish and sorrow. He addressed the crowd, reciting this poem of Saadi. "Let us all rise and weep like unto the clouds of the spring season. On the day when the lovers are separated from their beloved, one can even hear the lamentation of stones." Baha'u'llah then said, "Verily, this was said for this day." Mounted on his steed, a red-roan stallion of the finest breed, the best his lovers could purchase for him, and leaving behind him a bowing multitude of fervent admirers, he rode forth on the first stage of a journey that was to carry him to the city of Constantinople. Numerous were the heads Nabil himself, a witness of that memorable scene, recounts, which on every side bowed to the dust at the feet of his horse and kissed its hooves, and countless were those who pressed forward to embrace his stirrups. He, God it was, Baha'u'llah himself declares, who enabled me to depart out of the city, Baghdad, clothed with such majesty as none except the dernier and the malicious can fail to acknowledge. These marks of homage and devotion continued to surround him until he installed in Constantinople. Ahmed saw his beloved disappear from his sight, headed for an unknown destination. Sad at heart and utterly distressed in soul, he returned to Baghdad, which to him seemed devoid of any attraction. He tried to make himself happy by gathering the friends and encouraging them to disperse and teach the faith which had just been declared. Little did he know that Baha'u'llah was like unto the sun rising to the zenith of might and power. It is the festival of Ridván, Baha'u'llah writes, the vernal season wherein the beauty of the All-Glorious was revealed betwixt earth and heaven. In this wondrous day, the gates of paradise were flung open before the faces of the people, at the behest of him who is the all-praised, and the outpourings of divine mercy rained down from the clouds of celestial favor upon his countless embodiments and manifestations in the world of being. Happy Ridván.
Baha'u'llah is the Prince of Peace.
Baha'u'llah is the hidden name.
Baha'u'llah is the pen of the Most High.
Baha'u'llah is the divine physician.
Baha'u'llah is self-subsistent.
Baha'u'llah is the all-highest horizon.
Baha'u'llah is the Son of Man.
In the Garden of Ridván, Baha'u'llah told his followers that he was the world's teacher.
ای همه خوبی تو را پس تو کرایی کرا ای گل در باغ ما پس تو کجایی کجا سوسن با 100 زبان از تو نشانم نداد گفت رو از من مجو غیر دعا و ثنا سرو اگر سر کشید در قد تو کی رسید نرگس اگر چشم داشت هیچ ندیدو تو را هر طرفی صف زده مردم و دیو و دده لیک در این میکده پای ندارند پا از کرمت من بناز می نگرم در بقا کی به فریبت شها دولت فانی مرا 20,000 آرزو بود مرا پیش از این در حبس خود نماند هیچ امانی مرا ای که به هنگام درد راحت جانی مرا ای که به تلخی فقر گنج روانی مرا سجده کنم من به جان روی نهم من بخواد بگویم از اینها همه عشق پنهانی مرا
He is the ever-abiding. It is the festival of Ridván, the vernal season wherein the beauty of the All-Glorious was revealed betwixt earth and heaven. In this wondrous day, the gates of paradise were flung open before the faces of all people, at the behest of Him who is the all-praised, and the outpourings of divine mercy rained down from the clouds of celestial favor upon His countless embodiments and manifestations in the world of being. Selections from the writings of Baha'u'llah for Baha'i Holy Days. On behalf of the Baha'i community, happy Ridván, and thank you for watching.
In this day, Baha'u'llah talking to the world about justice. And oh, what a wonder this justice. Surely it's the day of God. In this day, Baha'u'llah talking to the world about oneness. And oh, what a wonder this oneness. Surely it's the day of God. Blessed beauty, blessed beauty, hallelujah, He has come. In this day, Baha'u'llah talking to the world about oneness. And oh, what a wonder this oneness. Surely it's the day